Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today some Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and what we're going to be doing in this video is actually knifing only. We're going to be going into ground war with the old combat knife and just taking it to people, and it is so much fun to knife only here in Black Ops 3, guys. If you guys haven't tried it already, I would definitely recommend it. It is so much fun. If you're a fan of using like a sniper rifle, right, and the satisfaction you get from using a sniper rifle, because typically when you're using a sniper, the most popular one here in Black Ops 3 would be like the Locust, right? It's a bolt action sniper, and when you get a kill with it, it just feels good, you know, because you have a bolt action sniper, you know that if you were to have missed, you're probably gonna die because you're not gonna be able to get that second shot off a lot of the time going up against submachine guns and assault rifles and whatnot. It's one of those high skill weapons, right? Same thing goes for shotguns. If you're using like the KRM or you're using the Argus, it feels very good to go through and get one shot kills and know that you're navigating the map in such a way that your shotgun is at kind of like its full effectiveness. You know, it's very fun. It's very rewarding to play that way. Well, knifing only is the same thing, but it's even more so because when you're knifing, you have no range whatsoever. Like, you are literally meleeing people to death. That is what you're doing, and it kind of requires you to take a lot of really fun routes. It requires you to kind of really try to master the movement system to try and get across the map and to evade people's bullets a lot of the time. It requires you to slide a lot and just try to get around people. It's a very fun way to play, and I try this every single year, guys. Every single year with every new Call of Duty, I try to knife only. I don't dedicate myself to a fully or anything. Like, I don't have like a knife only account or anything like that, but I do like to knife only in every single Call of Duty game, and trying it out here in Black Ops 3 is a lot of fun. I would say it's almost a little bit easier, it feels like, than previous Call of Duty games because of the new slide mechanic. I'm just sliding into people constantly and knifing their ankles, and it feels very good when I do that. It's definitely a lot of fun. You'll be seeing a lot of instances of that throughout this gameplay. So what I did with my class, right? Let me show you guys the class I did for my knife only gameplays here. Essentially what I did is I just took the standard old combat knife, which there's no attachments for the combat knife, but I think that there should be. How cool would it be if you could like put a red dot sight on your combat knife for whatever reason? I'm just saying, it would be hilarious. One of the things, if you guys ever watched the Battlefield Friends series, it's a series they run over there, or at least they used to run over there on Machinima. It was by Hank and Jed. It's a very, very, very funny Battlefield series. Well, there's this guy on there, the level 100 Colonel, who would always run around with a knife in Battlefield. He was so good with it, he unlocked a bipod for his knife. I think it would be hilarious if we were able to do that in Call of Duty. I'm just saying, that would be amazing. But in terms of the perks, they're actually loaded up with 6 perks, because I don't like the combat axes in this game, like the equivalent of a throwing knife or a tomahawk. Like, I don't like those things here in Black Ops 3 because it feels as though, and if you guys are maybe more experienced with them, let me know in the comments if you guys agree, it feels as though they put like a slight delay. Like, back in the day, you could just like, you know, press your right bumper, then bam, you throw out your throwing knife very quickly, you know, and you could take people out at like those medium ranges if you're very accurate with it. And it's always fun to watch people that were good at that. But here in Black Ops 3, it feels as though there's like a slight delay. So when I see somebody that go to hit my right bumper, like, I'm dead before like the knife even comes out. And it's like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to use that so much. So I end up swapping those out. So I have just my combat knife and 6 perks. The perks I went with are Flak Jacket, because I'm playing in Ground War, right? In Ground War, you have Team Deathmatch, you have Safeguard, you have Dom. So 2 out of 3 game modes are objective game modes. And I like to play the objective. Regardless if I'm running around with a knife, I like to run around and play the objective. So I have Flak Jacket on there. I have Ghost, because last thing you want as a knife only player is people knowing where you're at. In terms of perk 2, I actually tried out a new one. I'm trying Tracker, which is super fun. That's a perk that allows you to see enemy footsteps if they have recently ran by. It is so much fun. I'm sure you guys have been seeing it throughout this gameplay. As well as I'm using Cold Blood to kind of hide myself a little bit from like the counter UAVs and make it so they can't see my name and whatnot, which I think is pretty fun. As well as for perk 3, I have Tac Mask, because again, objective player. As well as I have Blast Suppressor, which really threw me off. I wonder if there's like something wrong with my headset, but Blast Suppressor actually suppresses the sound of your blasting. As you're like jumping and like you're boosting around the map and whatnot here in Black Ops 3, it actually makes that sound quieter, and like it was really off-putting at first because I don't usually use Blast Suppressor in this game, whereas I used it a ton back in Advanced Warfare, but I don't use it a lot in this game, and so it was actually really off-putting, like how quiet it makes you sound while you're jumping and whatnot. So it definitely is a pretty nice perk, especially if you're trying to sneak around the map as a knife-only player, which is, again, it's such a fun way to play because you are like an assassin, and I'm playing as a Spectre. I did play like one game as a Firebreak because I didn't have time, because I've made my class and I didn't have time to change around my specialist, but when you're running around as the Spectre, which reminds me a lot of Zero from Borderlands 2, like if you guys have seen this, like there's a lot of similarities between these two, I'm just saying. But when I'm running around as him and then you go for the Ripper ability, like I don't like the active camo one very much. If you go with the Ripper one though, it's like having Commando from Modern Warfare 2, and just like you go through people, it's like boo 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 boo, you're just like jumping and teleporting to people, taking them out with your melee. It's so much fun. So much fun, guys. I want to kind of just make this video saying, hey, if you guys haven't tried out knifing only in Black Ops 3, it is a ton of fun. I would recommend it. Now, keep in mind, it can be frustrating depending on what is happening in your game, depending on like the composition of the other team, depending on the map you're playing, the game that you're playing. You can find yourself kind of having some difficulty. The same way that you would have difficulty in trying to use a sniper rifle or trying to use a shotgun. Like, sometimes it's just the map isn't very good for it. Sometimes the other team is just, they're all using assault rifles and they're all kind of sticking back and they're making it so it's very difficult for, you know, a shotgun player or a melee player to try and like get up close to them. So sometimes it can be difficult, sometimes it can be frustrating, but overall it's pretty fun, rewarding. I would recommend going to Ground War if you're playing on a platform that actually has Ground War, just because if you're playing 6-on-6, like when you're playing 6-on-6, and it's the same reason a lot of snipers go to Ground War now, when you're playing 6-on-6, a lot of these kills are they're very personal. Like, if you're playing 6-on-6, like, when you run into a room and there's gonna be like a one-on-one there, like, it's gonna be you versus him. If he has a gun and you have a knife, chances are he's gonna win, you know, whereas in Ground War, you can flank, get behind 2 or 3 people occasionally, you know, you can kind of use your teammates as a distraction. Sometimes they're so focused on the objective that they don't even notice you coming around, whereas in like a 6-on-6 mode, it could be a little bit more difficult in that respect. But to each his own. I just recommend trying out Ground War if you guys have that available on your platform, because knifing only in Ground War is a ton of fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys all found it helpful and informative. Let us know in the comments, what is your guys' knife only class like? Again, this is going to be my knife only class. I'll put it right here on your screen for you guys. It's essentially 6 perks along with a combat knife. That's how I run it personally. I would love to know how you guys like to run your knife only class if you guys are a fan of trying to melee only here in Black Ops 3. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Remember to leave a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.